Welcome back to the Talk Tonight. The day before candidates can begin their petition drives, the Democratic primary in Syracuse is suddenly heating up. Today, Syracuse Councilor Pat Hogan announced he will run against Democratic incumbent Stephanie Miner for Mayor of Syracuse. And he joins us here in studio tonight. Congratulations on making the step forward, making the announcement today.
Thank you.
How did it feel to do that and to be out there and say, I'm coming?
Well, you know, it's been a long process, about 4 months, and the final straw was closing the fire station, which I felt affected the neighborhoods I represent deeply, you know, imperiled public safety. And it's not an easy decision, but I decided to step forward and offer my name.
Like any city, Syracuse has its challenges, certainly. We've seen it with the budget, we've seen it with crime, all kinds of issues. If elected, what's priority number one for you?
The stability of the neighborhoods. You know, I represent the 2nd Council District. It's made up of neighborhoods of strong working class neighborhoods. And what's been expressed to me through many neighborhood meetings over the especially the last 4 years, is a true concern about crime and the quality of life issues in the city.
So how do you do something about that? You know, I mean, you already know, you're well aware of the budget constraints that the city faces, and it's not expected to get better in the years ahead. So how do you deal with those?
You know,
kind of things?
we're aware, and the council, you know, I have to mention the last 2 budgets, the council voted 9-0, and you know, council in a collaborative effort. A lot of us who represent different constituencies came together and offered a plan, and both times those plans were rejected. And what it is reorienting the priorities, and my priorities would be the neighborhoods, at the cornerstone of this community. You know, I grew up in a neighborhood in the Valley, which was a great neighborhood. It was one of those neighborhoods, you know, a working class neighborhood where nobody locked their door at night. And I taught school as a 50-year-old, and in Seymour School. And I often wonder why some of these neighborhoods aren't like they were years ago. And I think it's because the cities have to prioritize where people live.
What have you seen over the last several years under the Curtin administration that you might do differently?
Well, I think I would establish a Bureau of Neighborhood Stability and Integrity. You know, staffed with people who would deal directly with the constituents on their problems. You know, the quality of life issues are what drive a lot of things. And, you know, Syracuse is a great place to live. And in the neighborhoods, a lot of people who grew up here, and people have learned to love this city, have loved it because of what the neighborhoods have to offer.
We got to show a statement from Mayor Miner's campaign that they released upon your announcement today, and it refers to this possibility of Democrats like yourself running and then switching parties or getting endorsed cross-party. They said city Democrats deserve to know if this is alternative field or will there be a bait and switch at the last minute, and will you run as Republican? So why don't you address that right up front? What's that all about? That's
idle speculation by people who, you know, think about partisan politics all the time. I mean, the mayor's you know, the state Democratic chairman, the state political boss. I think the people that were designated candidates, all good folks too, but you know, the folks I'm running with, we believe the rank and file Democrats should make the choice in who's going to be a councilor at large or a mayor, you know, instead of just 300 people. You know, the idle speculation that abounds, I imagine, is stemmed from maybe a little fear that there's a primary challenge.
Does it seem like politically that is more difficult to make a decision to primary somebody instead of just running for an open seat?
Well, you know, I think it's the partisan politics. You know, it's like a Washington Albany thing, not a Syracuse thing. You know, I coached Little League at Southside American, and before I had an assistant coach, I never asked him if he was a Democrat or Republican. I don't think Syracuseans think that way. You know, I don't think that they, you know, describe themselves as a Democrat or Republican. I think they say, I'm a Syracusean. I like my neighborhood.
Well, campaign's underway.
We'll be watching.
It's official. Pat Hogan, congratulations for putting your hat in the ring, and we'll follow it throughout the summer, that's for sure. Our conversation continues in just a moment. This time we move to the Supreme Court and a big decision about the use of DNA evidence, what this means for gathering DNA and when it can be gathered after the commission of a crime.